Good evening, America. Welcome to the Thank God It's Friday edition. Yep, we have made it here at Just the News, No Noise, and Real America's Voice through one of the most historic election weeks in history. I'm your host, John Solomon, reporting to you as always from Washington, D.C. in the wiredtofishcoffee.com studios. You know what? Wired to Fish Coffee is the official coffee of Just the News. You know why? It's my favorite coffee. It is an incredible tasting coffee, and it does good. Every time you drink a cup of coffee, they donate some of the proceeds to things like Christian faith groups and conservation, do things that matter to me. Go to wiredtofishcoffee.com and use the promo code JustNews, 10% off everything in their store. All right, this is one of my favorite weeks, and not just because it's election week, but because my amazing co-host, Amanda Head, is in Washington, D.C. Amanda, it just feels good having you right here. What a week we've been through. I look at these numbers, and there's been a seismic shift in the American electorate. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I think that this was a mandate from the American people that after 10 years of, pardon my language, crap and feeling beaten down, that Americans fought back. And I know it's Casual Friday. I'm wearing my yellow because I feel a sunny disposition. Maybe not here in Washington, D.C.
Oh, my God. Everyone here looks like they're at a morgue. It's terrible. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, yes. But you know what? I am so glad to be here and finishing out the week with all of you in the heart of the D.C. swamp. And hopefully President Trump this time around is going to be able to drain it fully instead of just draining it enough to see all of the critters. But President Trump's big victory, of course, would be a little less newsy. And I want to focus a little more on the entertainment industry, specifically those late-night comedians who used to make jokes for all the country, but now have chosen to only play to one side and ignore the other half of us. And remember, the other half has now won the popular vote, too. So let's start with Stephen Colbert, who can't help but lecture us from on high in his studio in New York. He had another one ready to go in the wake of Trump's victory. And let me just say, I think he's going to have a little trouble getting through the next 4 years. Tell me if this seems any way funny to you.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch this show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great. Yeah, me neither. You know, today, some people said to me, sorry you have to do a show tonight, which is nice of them to say, but I don't have to do a show. I get to do a show tonight. I'm so grateful to be with all of these talented people, those people over here, those people that you'll never see, with the audience and the Ed Sullivan, with you people at home, because especially at times like this, what do we most want to be? Not alone. So thanks for being here. We're going to do a comedy show. It's a comedy show. We're going to do some jokes in just a minute, because that's what we do. And I'll let you in on a little secret. No one gets into this business because everything in their life worked out great. So we're built for rough roads.
I don't think he intended it to be funny, but I actually found it pretty hilarious. And then you have world-renowned Trump hater Jimmy Kimmel, who literally cried on air after Trump won. And no, just like these late-night comedians nowadays, I'm not joking.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
Grief. Pull yourself together. What a man, baby. The only thing I really can tell you is that the entertainment industry is completely broken. And increasingly, it only speaks to one side, and that side is shrinking by the hour. There will be a reckoning when they have to change. That's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. And the only question now is when that change could possibly happen. All right, John, I want to turn it over to you because we have one of the, I would say unsung heroes, but sung heroes of the Blue Wall states on Tuesday night. And I say sung because I was singing his praises on Tuesday night because he fought hard for the state of Michigan.
He did. I call it the Michigan miracle. If you go back just 10 months, the Michigan Republican Party was in utter disarray, Amanda. You know, we were chronicling it here. And President Trump made a phone call and asked this gentleman, who he had once asked to be an ambassador to the Netherlands, who previously worked to fix a lot of problems in the Intelligence Committee when he's the House Intelligence Committee chairman a decade ago. I got to chronicle that when I was at the Washington Times. And he answered the call. He put Michigan's Republican Party back on the fast track. And when I mean the fast track, Michigan went red in a big way. The legislature's in Republican hands. Donald Trump won Michigan. We nearly won a U.S. Senate seat that was supposed to be +6 for the Democrats. The man behind that, former ambassador and good friend of the show, Pete Hoekstra. Mr. Ambassador, welcome to the show. Congratulations. I don't think there's been enough attention on what you pulled off and what the Michigan Republican Party pulled off. Tell us how it happened.
Well, number one, thank you to our state committee who recognized early in 2024 that we were headed for a train wreck, and they said, we've got to replace the chairwoman of the party. They did. The president and others called and said, hey, Pete, we'd like you to run the party, And it's kind of like, no, not really. And, the president can be kind of persuasive. And so I took on the responsibility. We put together a great team. Our donors came on board. The Trump team supported us. We had a lot of support because we knew what was at stake. We could win Michigan for the president. We could possibly win a Senate seat. We won the state legislature, and we picked up a congressional seat. So we all came together. But what did we do? We focused exactly on what a political party should do, and that is winning. We weren't going to go back and talk about what had happened over the previous number of years or the previous year, which were a disaster. We're not focused on that. We're focused on winning. We're focusing on developing the right message to connect with the Michigan voters that puts us over the top. It was a great team effort. I was proud to have the opportunity to lead this group, but obviously it doesn't happen because of one person. We had just a great group of folks that stepped up and made this a reality, which none of us thought would have happened.
Absolutely. Mr. Ambassador, in the weeks leading up to the election, President Trump made an appeal to people who live in places like Dearborn, Michigan, Arab Americans, Somali Americans, and the left made fun of him for that. But as I was looking at the returns in places like Dearborn, Kamala Harris did not get the turnout that she needed in places like that. How big of a piece of the puzzle do you think that was in completing the picture for his victory?
Well, I mean, the president actually, I think, won Dearborn. Unbelievable. I think 4 years ago he lost 88-11. It's the story of this campaign all across our state. We as a state party and Donald Trump reached out to people that they believe felt that they were neglected by the Biden administration or hurt by the Biden administration. So it was the Muslim, the Arab Americans in Southeast Michigan. It was the black community. We improved our vote total in Wayne County by, I believe, 9%. That is a huge shift. The auto workers, they've been under attack from the EV vehicles, Chinese vehicles, the Biden administration. There was a huge movement from auto workers voting traditionally Democrat, now voting for Republicans. The Teamsters. I mean, you go right down the line. And so I was always very bullish that we were going to win Michigan, because when I looked at all the people that Donald Trump was bringing into the party and how they were responding, it's like, how are the Democrats going to make up those numbers? And guess what? They couldn't, and we won.
Yeah, it is amazing. You focused on blocking and tackling early on. I saw this and I chronicled it. It was remarkable. There are initiatives to get done. You just get registering people. You get the ground game going. You engage on early voting, which Michigan did outstanding on this time for the Republican Party. But there was a moment very early on in your tenure where you and President Trump turned to something that I think for most manufacturing-based jobs in Michigan was the story in Michigan, and that is the Biden-Harris Green Energy Plan had basically sold out automakers and all the industry in Michigan around the automakers to China with EVs, the Goshen plant. Tell us how that played out over the summer and how that became one of the most powerful storylines in Michigan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is one where Governor Whitmer, put together a secretive plan, because why do I say secretive? People who were involved with it had to sign non-disclosure agreements. But, where Michigan taxpayer money was funneling billions of dollars. And, John, you've documented this very clearly over the last 18 months. I've been fighting this for 18 months. So the state's funneling billions of dollars of subsidies and those types of things to build electric batteries. Okay, that's one thing. But the companies are owned by who? the Chinese Communist Party. Well, that's a bad thing. Michigan taxpayer money going to Chinese companies to put American and Michigan workers out of their jobs. How did that play out? A year ago, we won recall elections for all the local township officials who were supporting this crazy initiative. This year, we replaced county executives. But the bottom line is the Trump administration, in support of Michigan workers, came out strongly against these plans by the Michigan governor. And so they embraced it. They had a rally at a facility directly across the street from this proposed new facility with J.D. Vance, Mike Rogers, Vivek Ramaswamy. When he was running, he did a rally there. This issue captured, the attention of automobile workers. These are smart people, John and Amanda. They knew that this threat was really a threat to their jobs. They responded very, very strongly, and it showed that Donald Trump and his team were listening to the workers, and it showed that Governor Whitmer and others were playing footsie with China, and that they didn't care about Michigan manufacturing or Michigan manufacturing jobs. It was a huge issue.
Absolutely. And sir, to that end, as well as other policy points and initiatives by Governor Whitmer, I thought I heard some quacking coming from East Lansing. You guys won back the House in Michigan. Does that effectively make her a lame duck governor?
Well, I mean, she still controls the Senate. She's still governor. But it significantly puts a damper on what has been a very damaging agenda for the state of Michigan. Her agenda, we built off of it to, put in place a counter agenda that would enable us to win, this week. The other thing is she was an awesome supporter of Donald Trump. What do I mean? You probably played the video when she was mocking Catholics by offering communion with Doritos to a young, social media influencer on her knees in front of the governor. I think across the country, we did much better with Catholics. I think by close to 20 points. She's been a disastrous governor economically. And yes, we now have something that can stop and slow her agenda and be a counterforce to her disastrous policies.
Remarkable. Mr. Ambassador, one last question, because I know you already lean into the future. You don't look backward very long. You've done it your whole career. The next president, Donald Trump, is going to have a large job to do to refocus the intelligence community, which missed October 7th, which missed the predictions of what would happen with the Taliban taking over the Afghanistan so far. Massive flaws in one of the most important red alert systems we have in America, our intelligence community. As someone who supervised it as House Intelligence Committee Chair, what are the big objectives that Donald Trump has to achieve early on to make sure we keep this country safe by fixing the intelligence community?
We got to depoliticize it and get them focused on their mission, which is to keep America safe. They undercut his first administration even before he got in with the Russia hoax. It continued through his whole administration. They never fully covered COVID and talked about how this probably came out of the Chinese lab. They actually covered for the Chinese Communist Party. The Hunter Biden laptop, it was just one example after another where, number one, they were focused on issues they have no business being in, okay? They have no business being in politics. No federal government worker does, but especially our intelligence community. Get the hell out of that function, support the president, support the national security of our country, and focus on your jobs. I mean, they were censoring and telling, social media what was real news and fake news during the 2020 election. That is not a responsibility of a foreign intelligence organization. Focus and rebuild your capability to identify the threats overseas, not internally.
Such great advice. Take your thumb off the election scale here and put it back on security. That's what we need them to do. Mr. Ambassador, congratulations on one of the greatest stories in this 2024 election, the revival of the Michigan Republican Party on yours and Donald Trump's watch. What a great honor to have you on.
Yeah. Hey, great. Good to see you guys. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you so much. All right, folks. I love, we're going to take a quick commercial. We're going to come back. Our next guest, I love. He always lights it up here. Mike Davis, he lit up the entire social media sphere yesterday. We're going to tell you why right after these messages. Hey, folks, did you know you can join AMAC today for only $1? That's right, $1 for a whole year's membership. I want to encourage all of you to visit amac.us/justnews and activate this limited time opportunity. Just listen to all that you get for just $1. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, works tirelessly to advocate for the values that matter most to Americans like you and me. Small government, strong borders, election integrity, and of course, protecting your constitutional rights. Becoming an AMAC member gives you access to free advice on Social Security and Medicare, ensuring you get the help you need when you need it most. And as a member, you stay informed with trusted news through AMAC's Newsline, the Better for America podcast, and your subscription to the award-winning AMAC magazine. Plus, members enjoy exclusive money-saving discounts on travel, hotels, insurance, restaurants, and so much more. I use that all the time. For a limited time, join AMAC and receive all of these benefits for just $1 for your first year. And only that's $16, so you can take advantage of all these benefits and help save America at the same time for just $1. Join today. Visit amac.us/justnews or call 1-888-262-2006. That's amac.us/justnews or call 1-888-262-2006. Join now and save America